All right, welcome to the People's Fantasy Football Podcast. This is our mailbag episode. So it's going to be under 10 minutes, and we're going to get started with it. All right, first question, boys. What running back do you think one injury away from having a workhorse rule? This guy was arguing with his boys that if Aaron Jones goes down, A.J. Dillon becomes a top 5 running back. Who else do you think falls in that category? And it was the Cycle J Fox.
Well, first of all, I don't think that AJ Dillon does fall in that category of top 5. I don't think anybody falls in the category of somebody goes down and now you're a top 5 running back. That's a bit extreme, but there might be a couple that end up as an RB1.
So who do you got?
Yeah, I agree with that.
You want me to lead it off?
Lead it off.
Take it away.
I got Joe's boy over in Pittsburgh, Jaylen Warren.
You're such an idiot.
The only downside to this is that he might actually be the starting running back by like week 4, week 5 anyway. So it's good to have as a handcuff because you might just get that RB1 by default, even without Najee, the average running back going down. But let's say Najee does go down. Jaylen is, he proved it last year. He's explosive. He's undrafted. Nobody knew about him, and he was one of the top backs in the league when it comes to rushing efficiency. So if you can do that again, Joe, you mentioned it. They bolstered that O-line. They got pounders. They got maulers up front. If it's Jaylen Warren getting the workhorse, and you know that Tomlin loves to go to one back and one back only, then he has potential to be that RB1.
All right. Joe, what do you think?
So if I had to take one, I love Gus Edwards, man. Every year in this league, Gus Edwards has averaged 5 yards a carry or more. The only issue with him is he's had some slight injury problems himself. But Dobbins has had that issue in the short time he's been in the league, so he could easily go down. And in the later rounds, I'm definitely liking Gus Edwards in case something like that happens.
And you think he can be an RB1?
Gus Edwards all day long.
Gus Edwards could be an RB1 for like the 3 plays that he'll be in and before he gets hurt. So
he doesn't catch the ball much either, does he?
They don't have a lot of options behind him. Justice Hill's okay. Melvin Gordon's aging and fumbles too much, so you got to work with what you got.
All right, Andy, who's your guy that can become a workhorse running back, an RB1?
I'm gonna go with Eli Mitchell. Even though I don't know if he would get truly to an RB1 if McCaffrey went down, because Debo will probably slide back into that hybrid role and pick up what he did a couple years ago. But Shanahan has probably, a top 3 scheme every year. Offensively, he knows what he's doing. They always have a good offensive line, a good line on both sides, but he knows what to do. He knows how to get guys in positions to create what they're good at doing. And I think no matter who's back there in that backfield, getting the majority of carries, they're always going to be, in contention for very good fantasy value, especially if there's, less of them. So
yeah, it's that zone running scheme they got there. I'm going to go quick. I'm going to be a homer here, and I'm going to say Zeke. If Ramondre goes down, the reason I think he can be an RB1, though, is he had 12 touchdowns last year. Yep. Got to feed him. He had 12 touchdowns last year. He's just plodding at this point in time, but he can still catch the ball, too, from time to time. So if he falls into the end zone, double digit and catches the ball here and there, he could fall into that RB1 category.
Yeah, there's certainly nobody behind him.
No, at all. No,
Pierre Strong.
Pierre Strong is about it, but he's not workhorse build. All right, let's jump to the second question from Erica Benson 8. My husband is making me do a fantasy draft. He said I can have whatever pick I want, 1 through 12. What pick should I take and who should I pick? Would be great if you could tell me the first 2 picks. Go ahead, Mike, start it off.
Well, I don't think we got the format of this league, but I'm going to assume it's either half PPR or we'll just assume half PPR because that's what we usually do ours off of anyway. But I love pick 2. For me, I think JJ is the consensus number 1 pick. So I'm happy with getting my number 1 guy. in the first round, CMC. Like you just said, that scheme run attack, he's gonna shine. Everyone already knows that. But so you get CMC, and then on the way back, you have different options. If he falls to you, I love Tony Pollard right there. Go back-to-back running back. He's been going a little earlier than that. But even at that position, I love Chris Olave. So that's my 2 picks coming back in the end of round 2. Tony Pollard, Chris Olave. You got yourself a nice little stack right there.
All right, Joe. You're laughing a lot. Do you have anything to say about it? Or you
It's
want
just
to say
I've
yours?
hated everything Rossi has said tonight, so I'm glad this is a short one. It's fucking disgusting. So I think the safest place to pick would be in somewhere around spot 8. I think spot 8, you get a solid RB with either Barkley or Chubb. Either one of those I think is very safe options in that spot. And then on the way back, I think you have 3 options you can go. I think you can go either Derrick Henry and double up on the running backs. I think you can go Devontae Adams. But if both of those guys are gone, which they possibly could be, that's where Tony Pollard is my safe haven in that spot. And I don't think he makes it to a spot on the snake, like Mike would say, taking 2.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think he's making it back to 2 either. Not anymore, at least. Especially
No,
with
especially with Martin back.
I did a sleeper draft right before this to see what I got, and I did get CMC, Tony Pollard, and then actually Chris Olave in round 3. So love that outcome.
Yeah, I think a lot of these mock drafts, especially sleeper, the quarterbacks are always going early in the second round, and that's not going to happen a lot of times in real life. I don't think.
All right, Andy, where you at?
I'm kind of with Joe here. You miss out on that real elite talent, but I would go 10 roughly around Joe, somewhere in there. I'm a receiver heavy drafter usually because I think they put out the most points. So if I go 10, I'm hoping to get Steph Diggs in round 1, and then on that back end, if one of the big running backs slides to me, Chubb probably not, but maybe Derrick Henry, maybe Chubb. If not, you're still looking at probably Devontae Adams, CeeDee Lamb, another elite wide receiver. So you're starting yourself off in a pretty good position. And there's so much talent at running back in that like 4, 5, 6 round that if you do start off 2 elite receivers, you're still fine. You're missing out on that top end because you're at 10, but you're still going to get that nice kind of second, third tier of like back end rounding RB1s, early RB2s.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm kind of gonna go off of that a little bit. I like 3 or 4 pick for me. I want to get either one of like Jamar Chase or Eckler, something like that. If I'm going 3, I want Jamar Chase. If I get Jamar Chase, I'm gonna come back around and I'm probably gonna pick one of those quarterbacks. I'm probably gonna do Josh Allen, come back around again and go like Olave, something like that. And like you said, you can kind of push the running backs back and get like a Madison and Cam Akers at the 4-5 turn. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. All right, boys.
I think that's pretty evenly split there between front loaded and back loaded. But I think we can all agree that if you're looking for the worst position, it's like 6 or 5 or 6. No one really wants that position.
Yeah, it's a little tough. That dead center's, I don't know. It just never feels right. You don't get the people you want. I don't know. I don't like it.
Such a long wait. It's a boring draft.
Yeah.
Is that as well. And then with the Cooper Cup injury, I think I wouldn't have minded him at like 5, but now I don't know.
It's tough.
Yeah. All right, boys. Thanks for answering some
quick one.
questions here. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Later.
Later, guys.
See ya.